Hey Psych307 friends, it's Chris here again, and I'm going to teach you a little bit on how to do some research for your lit reviews. I'm going to go through kind of what my flow is with regards to finding articles and the resources that I use in order to find ones that are credible and also good for my paper. I'm going to focus on journal articles today and using the databases that BYU has through the BYU Library website in order to do this. And yeah, so basically, let's just jump into this. So you're going to go to the BYU website and click on databases. When you get to databases, click on P because psychology is a thing. We're going to scroll down a little bit, and we're going to go to the first psych. Oh, look, we can find some psychology ones. Perfect. So we'll click on PsycInfo, for example, to start things out. Now I'm going to teach you how to add multiple databases to your searches. So it doesn't just search in PsycInfo, but it searches in other ones. So you got this page up right here. You go to choose databases, and it'll pop up this little window here. What you can do is scroll down and choose any databases you want. What I would recommend is choosing psych articles. If you want APA psych books, I don't usually do that one just because I have to find the book. Psychology and behavioral sciences collection, PsycInfo, and psych tests as well. That's not a bad one to include. So after I've selected all the databases that I want, I'll go up here and I'll click OK. And now, as you can see, it's including all the databases in my search. And so what you can do is, if you're just starting from square one, just type in, your topic here. So I'm going to do meditation. Just a simple search. And here we go. And now it shows kind of what you've probably seen a few times, just different articles about meditation. So now let's learn how to optimize some of our searches here. So you see I've just searched meditation, not too specific, right? Let's go up here, and actually before we do that, let's limit some of our searches here as part of optimizing it. So we're going to want to make sure they're all peer reviewed, the ones that show up. And as you can see, the number goes down from like 10,000 to about 7,000. Now limit the time frame. We want it to be within 10. I think it's 10 years of this year, so 2010 to 2020 publication date. Click on that, and that should limit it a few more. And then down here, we're going to want journals, academic journals, probably, and some things that we would want to avoid when doing our lit review is reviews. So we don't really want to cite other literature reviews, just because we are creating a literature review ourselves. We want to find some of the primary sources because we are going to be a secondary source. We want to find some primary resources. Also, we want to avoid some of those dissertations. I know that a lot of times there will be some dissertations that like master's and PhD theses that people publish. We want to make sure that we're sticking with academic articles and other articles. And so now I've limited the search to these criteria here. And now let's learn how to maybe do a more advanced search. So if you click up here on advanced search, it kind of gives us a little bit more, it helps us narrow down kind of what we want, right? And so we know there's the Boolean phrases, the and the or and the not and all those things. So when searching stuff, this is really, really useful. So for example, the and is when you want to include both things that you're searching for. The or is perhaps you want to find either or of the topic. For example, it could be meditation or mindfulness. This means that it will choose both of those things. It will choose both of those things as part of the criteria. So choose mindfulness or meditation, and then my topic, for example, is on anxiety. So mindfulness or meditation. So it'll choose either or when it does the search. And anxiety. So it'll choose anxiety paired with meditation and anxiety paired with mindfulness. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump in here, and then, for example, let's do not depression. So it will not include results that have depression in them. So we'll search that. Cool. It looks like it brought my search back to what I didn't want it to be. So we'll just do that. Limit it again to maybe some of the things that I want. Okay, cool. And we'll do academic journals. Cool, and it limited my searches quite a bit. to what I wanted them to be. So now I'm getting more specific mindfulness-based relapse prevention in jail. Okay, cool. Brief meditation interventions, mindfulness, things like that. And it's always a good idea if you get a search and you're like, I'm not super sure about some of these articles and about the titles, then you can just always change it up a little bit. So I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to narrow it a little bit, and anxiety treatments. Cool. Mindfulness meditation intervention for anxiety. So now I'm getting a little bit closer to what I really want. Yeah. So now that you've searched for something, you've been able to do this. We've limited our search. We've optimized it to what we want it to be. Now we get to the meat of it, where we're looking at the layout of our search right here. So what you can do is you can actually change what information you see on the screen here by going to page options. If you choose standard, it'll show different information. It might show some other stuff here. If you show detailed here, you'll be able to see maybe a little bit more detailed. Sometimes the abstract will be there as well. So if you want to read a little bit more, you don't have to jump into articles as much. This is super helpful with doing that. Oftentimes what I usually do is I do kind of brief one. It depends on kind of what you want. I really like brief just because what you can do is it's kind of a little bit smaller. What you can do is over here you see this little magnifying glass. If you hover your mouse over here, you can get all the information for the article. You can get the abstract as well as links to the PDF full text and other things. And yeah, so this is super useful right here. You just hover your mouse over it and you can get an idea about what the article's about without having to jump into it and then jump out of it and go back to the search and things like that. So yeah, so now what we'll do is we'll jump into, let's say I'm interested in this article right here. I've read the abstract. I like what it says. And now what I'll go through, and I'm going to jump in and I'll click on this. You can click on this and it'll pull up the article if it's available at BYU. So what I always do, a rule of thumb for me, is if I find an article I like, what I will do is I will download it as a PDF. And I do this because, and you can also, once you download it as a PDF, you can throw it into RefWorks, which is super helpful. But I don't trust entirely RefWorks to keep all of my things there and not delete everything, because there was one time when I was using RefWorks and I had a lot of sources, and it ended up deleting everything for some reason, and I had to start fresh. So that wasn't super fun. So I learned from there to download the PDF version of my articles, and I created a Google Drive folder where I put all the ones that I was using, and I labeled them really nicely. I gave them good titles and everything like that, and that's pretty much the way that I did stuff. And as always, you can use RefWorks. You go to BYU RefWorks, genealogy, bibliography generators. Okay, it's taking a second. I wonder if I can go to the website. Let's see if it'll let me in. Fun. Okay, so let's see. I think that, yeah, it's, let's see, I can use this now. Okay, it's not liking me, so we're not going to do that today. But you understand RefWorks. What you could do with RefWorks too, which is really cool, is you can upload PDF files of the articles that you choose into RefWorks. And I can do that for another video, or you can reach out to me if you have any questions about that specifically. It's pretty straightforward. You just enter RefWorks, the page is in front of you, and then you can add a source, and then there'll be an option for downloading or for uploading a PDF. Anyway, the idea is save them somewhere else besides RefWorks, because it's good to have them handy. Plus, with the PDFs, you can edit them and mark them and things like that just on your computer. So that's really nice. And yeah, so let's go back to our results list. That's basically what you do there. Cool. So now we'll jump into one that maybe we won't have. It'll be a little different. Get it at BYU. Great. Click on that. So it showed us a little bit different. We didn't just have an PDF access right away. Click on the full text online. Now it takes us to the actual place where we can look at the article, like the actual website where the journal's held. as always, you can always look for and always find the PDF downloads anywhere you go. And so I would always do that as well. Just download it so that you have it handy, because it's super useful. And yeah, so that's basically some of the tips and tricks for that. Let's see. There's also, when you go into certain articles, if it's available in the system here, result list right there, you can always, it'll help you cite it sometimes. If you go here to this side of the screen, click on cite, it will give you an APA citation for it. I would always double check with the APA manual before you use that, but it's also, that's there to help you. Anyway, let's jump into this. So, sorry, going back and forth. So let's say you have this article and you've found that you really like it, but you're just trying to find more sources for your topic, and you're struggling with that a little bit. But you found a really golden or 2 golden articles that you love, and you want to find more like it. Well, good news is your article also contains many citations. As you can see here, all the highlighted hyperlink things are cited works, and so you can. Oops, I don't want to say that. Yeah, they're all cited works, so that's cool. So you can do is you can go all the way to the end. If you find even like a quote that you like, go to the end of the paper and look. They have a list of citations, a list of articles, and so yeah. So this is good. You can do is you can jump in and we'll go. Let's find an article. Great, applying DBT mindfulness skills to the treatment of anxiety disorders. Okay, so we found that. We're going to go back to the results list. Now that we have the title, I'm just going to throw the title in there. Let me get rid of this Boolean phrase here. I'll search for it. And a lot of times you'll find that article here. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but a lot of times finding the article title in the cited works of the other page of the other article, you can search it in your database search, and you can find that one or similar articles to what you're looking for. So we'll go in here. We'll try that again. And so you can do this with other articles as well. You can do this with any article that you find. If you like the research, you can go in and you can find, like, oh, that title looks like it's good for me or something, and you can always search for it in your databases as well. Yeah, so that's one thing that I do. Also, another way to, if you, for example, there's one of the writers of your article has a lot of research and a lot of articles related to this one. You can click on their name inside of this, and it will search specifically articles that are written by that individual. And so right here, it's not a good example. There's some of them that are interlaced there, but as you can see, Navarro Haro shows up a few times here. But most of the times, if the professor has done a lot of research in this, you can find lots and lots of articles by the same person. And so you can even search, I think you can search it by person that you want. Let's say like Roy Baumeister, who's a social psychologist. You could probably find lots of articles by him by searching their name as well in the database. So that's probably super helpful when doing stuff. So if you're struggling with finding articles, you can always search their name and search article titles that you find in other articles. That's just one more way to find research. Okay, so now I'm going to pivot a little bit to Google Scholar. So I know that the course talks about Google Scholar and doesn't like it very much. And if you're looking just for citing straight from Google Scholar, I wouldn't recommend it. But Google Scholar is another tool that you can use to help give you more ideas and to give you more, maybe just to do a more broad search to find more stuff on your topic. So for example, and anxiety reduction. I'll use it to search and then look at all these. There's a lot of, it basically will show you, like, here's a list of articles that are related to your topic. These are journal articles, and a lot of them you might not have access to straight away, but what you could do is just like, there's literature review, we'll avoid that one. We'll jump in here and oops, we'll take that title. I'm going to go back to my search here. And a lot of times you can find the article. Boom, there it is. Awesome. So sometimes maybe that's a way that you like to do it. You can search the article in here and look, there it is. Found it from Google Scholar. But I also found it in the database. So therefore it's good to use as long as it follows the parameters that you're looking for. This one looks pretty good. It might be a little bit old, but that's you can always refine your searches like that. But yeah, so Google Scholar I think is a good resource for finding more content for your paper. So if you're struggling with finding articles, always there's other ways you can find stuff on your topic. Especially just even a regular Google search can give you ideas to push your research in the right area, in the right direction. So yeah, so Google Scholar is cool. You can see how many people have cited it, which is cool. You can see like where it's been cited, and then there you go. It's just a network of all these articles and stuff. And sometimes you can find National Institute of Health websites, like government websites as well. It includes those in here. But yeah, that's pretty much how you do that. You can use those things to broaden your search. So yeah, so just in summary of everything, there's a lot of resources out there. You just have to learn how to use the tools that you have available to you. So you got the resource, which is the databases here. We know how to search multiple databases. We know how to do Boolean phrases. We know how to find, maybe some more articles by the same person. We can do that by looking at what their sources are, who they cited. And we can also search in Google Scholar. You can search certain individuals as well and find some of their works as well. So there's lots of ways to do that in order to navigate the journal world out there. And I hope that this has been a help to you in finding research for your literature review. And thanks a lot.